We've got the next round of this tournament, the top 8 round, repping the Lakers right here. I like to see that as someone who was just in LA for the Dodgers game. Playing Green Zoro. So Green Zoro is kind of the best deck on the block coming out of OP12 out of the leaders. Has that 3 Dawn activate main once per turn. If you battled a character, right, whether that's KOing a character, right, swinging out a searcher, battling a blocker when your opponent opted to block, whatever, you can restand your leader, but you can't swing at a 7 cost or less character for the rest of the turn. So allows you to get aggressive and do 2 swings. Marshall.D.Teach is going to be an interesting deck. This new starter decks 23 through 28, legal in this tournament. Teach getting a buff in that 7-drop Teach as well as that 6-drop Kuzan and maybe a couple other cards could be super impactful within this matchup, right? Negating on play effects of that Dracul Mihawk, right? The 8-cost Dracul Mihawk blocker that Zoro will play. The 5-drop Tashigi, right? Being able to rest one of your opponent's 5-drop or less characters and then give 3 Dawn to your Zoro leader to go ahead and use leader effect is definitely going to be an interesting matchup, I feel like, at this point. Our friends over at Nen Garden have officially kicked off the summer sale on their website. Prices are slashed from 10% to 40% across the entire store now. You can pick up some crazy discounts on One Piece based mats like the Heavenly Yaksha, some great anime themed mats like Paranormal Playmat and also the Curse vs. Beast, as well as if you get a Sun God playmat right now while supplies last. Every purchase of this specific Stitched Edge playmat gets a free playmat tube as well to help protect what you love, as well as a brand new pre-order that's dropped in the Pokemon region if you're a fan of Final Boss, which the colors on this are insane, man. I love this design. You can use my code Atrocious to save an extra 5% off and help support the channel, and make sure to grab your new favorite playmat while this sale's going on because you don't want to miss it. Now back to the video. All right, back to focusing on you guys, chat. Chat, has anybody told you that you're beautiful? And here we go with the Zoro's hand. You've got the Hiyori, right, is a really nice 1-drop searcher. The 3-drop Tashigi as a 2K. You've got the Cavendish right there. One of the best cards in the deck, right? Even though it can't use its on-play effect to restand Dawn, can still use it when attacking. And then a couple of the beautiful alternate art Peach Momoko Tashigis. The Teach here has an interesting hand to start. Does have some early search in the full lead stage as well as the 1-drop Lafitte, but also has the 4-drop Jesus Burgess, I forgot his name, and 7-drop Blackbeard, the Zoro going first in this. Probably going to play the 1-drop Hiyori going first. The Zoro actually going first passes the turn. Maybe doesn't want to play Hiyori and then get it dock queued immediately. The Blackbeard going ahead on the 2 Dawn turn using the Lafitte. Pretty good play right here. Does find a couple different options in the My Era Begins, right? That My Era Begins going to be really nice in the next turn to be able to build up the trash on a 4 Dawn turn. You can go ahead, play the Lafitte, use the Lafitte, play the My Era Begins, and also play the full lead stage, right? So is going to be very nice. You see that swing on the Lafitte is going to be able to get the knockout, and the Zoro, one of the reasons it's so strong, the activate main restanding because it battled that Lafitte character, is going to be able to swing another 8,000 power at lead. And so now on this trigger, right on this first life, My Era Begins, going to be able to grab a Black Hole. Black Hole might be really nice in this matchup, right, to help get rid of some of these characters that Zoro might play on the field, including Cavendish. You just need a little bit more cost minus to be able to get rid of that guy in this situation. The Blackbeard on the 4 Dawn turn is going to go ahead and swing 5 at lead, pitching the Cavendish immediately. And the full lead comes down on the field. Going to be doing some hand filtering, right? Going to be doing some searching, building up the trash at this point. Going to look at that top 3 for a Blackbeard Pirates card. Finds a couple options, opts for the 2K Stronger, putting the 10-cost Blackbeard into the bottom of the deck. Stronger, really nice 2K to have in this list, and is almost always in these Blackbeard lists. And so now with another Dawn, goes ahead with My Era Begins, is going to search out 3 of them, and we see a couple cards. That nice SP Kuzan we love to see, but also a 6-cost Kuzan from the starter deck is what he grabs. So now with the rest of the Dawn, goes ahead and does a Lafitte, just builds up that hand, just continues to search in this game. Find some options. We see some of the techs in this Blackbeard deck. Tempest Kick has started to become a mainstay in these Blackbeard decks right in the last set or so, but is thinking about grabbing the alternate art 5-cost Kuzan from OP10. That is a nice card to get to be able to recur some of your cards, especially when you use leader effect to put away the Jesus Burgess. You'll be able to get that back with the 5-cost Kuzan. So the Zoro for turn draws a Kawamatsu, has a Hody Jones in hand, so interesting interaction maybe on the next turn. If the Blackbeard decides to use leader effect on the 7 Dawn turn, he'll be able to play Hody, get Rush for free. And so now the leader effect going in, taking out that Searcher, is going to be able to grab another life. And with the 2 Dawn, goes ahead and uses the Hiyori. The Hiyori, not an on-play effect to be able to do this top 5 search for a Slash character. It is a activate main, rest 1 Dawn and that character. Finds the Demonic 9-Sword style Asura card, right? A mini Hody Jones, being able to rest blockers and Dawn, as well as being a 3,000 power counter event, is going to be really nice for this matchup specifically because, as we've seen, there's a couple blockers in this list, like that 6-cost Kuzan from the starter deck, that could prove a troublesome point for the Zoro. The Blackbeard starting off with the full lead stage right there, pitches the Von Augur, grabs another My Era Begins, just once again wants to build up the trash at this point with these little events. Goes ahead and swings 5, clearing that Hiyori. You don't want any potential search in the incoming turns. You want to try to lower the hand as much as possible. Playing that My Era Begins, finds a 10-cost Teach and a 6-cost Kuzan. We know that one of the 10-cost Teaches was bottom decked earlier, and I may be wrong, but I feel like in a previous search there was another 10-cost Teach. So not grabbing this third one, potentially second one in this, and grabbing just a second 6-cost Kuzan. So maybe just try to build up the board and spread it out a little bit more wide in this matchup. Puts down that 5-cost Kuzan on the field, pitches the Liberation for the leader effect, and passes off the turn. Kuzan, with that blanket protection effect, right, cannot be removed from the field, is going to be on the next turn a nice 5k poke into the activate main and putting whatever body they want to put on the field. Death Striker, that's what I usually do for the YouTube videos. And so now with the Demonic 9-Sword style Asura, is going to go ahead and rest that Kuzan. We knew the card was in hand, right? So being able to now use leader effect right after resting that Kuzan is going to take it out and grab another life. Is actually going to hit a lot in value on this Blackbeard, right? The Blackbeard had pitched away the Burgess earlier in the game, and so is going to have to use another one of these 5-drops in hand to be able to get that guy out onto the field. Maybe also thinking about the blocker Kuzan, right? The blocker Kuzan could be very nice to be able to regurgitate some resources that you've got in the game. He's on an 8 Dawn turn at this point, so starts off with the full lead stage, pitching that 7-drop Blackbeard, finds another 7-drop as well as a Van Augur, right? The 2 options that he can grab. The Van Augur is going to be nice for at least a little bit of counter in your hand that you could potentially utilize, but that 7-drop Blackbeard, if you do end up wanting to do that, if it does get KO'd, is going to be able to allow you to grab something from your trash and put it in your hand. So ends up swinging 6,000 at lead. A 2K Kawamatsu is coming down onto the bench. Going ahead, has 7 Dawn left in the turn, ends up resting 6 for the Kuzan. The Kuzan going to be nice, right? It's a blocker and a 1-drop Caribou as well. The interesting interaction, right, that you do have to think about after this leader effect comes down is that if the Zoro battles a character, it can go ahead and restand for another swing on that activate main. Battling a blocker, right, when your opponent opts to block is battling a character still at that point. So you got to be really cautious of when he can restand, right, and when you go ahead and block. So on this 7,000 power swing is thinking of just using that Kuzan, and on that on KO effect, now playing a 5 cost or less Blackbeard Pirate type character rested, being that Jesus Burgess. I don't know the power of the Jesus Burgess, but with the rest of the turn playing the Hody Jones now going at life is going to prompt either the Caribou block or a life taken, and the Caribou block is the option. And so, yes, one of the things that I've loved that they started doing in these Japan Championships is placing the counters on different characters, placing these tokens so we kind of have a better idea of what's happening in the game. The Jesus Burgess, a 9,000 power character, going to be a heavy swinging body potentially at this Hody Jones, is going to go ahead and start off 5,000 power at lead. Is just going to be a 2K counter out of that one. So if he goes in with the Burgess, right, because you gave a 2K on a 5K swing, you probably get the knockout on the Hody, right? Yeah, the great thing is when Blackbeard uses leader effect, Hody Jones actually doesn't take the life on the on-play effect. It's incredible. And so using the full lead stage to get rid of the black hole, character's just a little bit too big for the black hole, ends up finding Doc Q for the option. We see Tempest Kick in that stack, right? Can't grab Tempest Kick. It's a CP0 event or CP9 event, and builds up the hand. Just another card, still like a decently healthy hand size, I think, for the Blackbeard. And now a 5th power up comes down on the Burgess, and so 10,000 power on the Hody Jones gets the knockout. So thinking about playing another 5 cost Kuzan right here, could just go double 5 cost Kuzan on this turn, right? Would be able to get out 2 different characters out onto the field. I don't think there's another Burgess in the trash right now, so the Kuzan a little bit more limited to just like Van Augur or something of the sort in terms of options. Ends up using the Kuzan effect right away and plays a card that we're starting to see more in these Blackbeard decks. San Juan Wolf, I believe is how you say it, has a 4 cost 6,000 power stat line. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. And so with that +5 is a 9 cost on the field, is going to be a nice blocker that you're playing off of the Kuzan right here. So playing out the rest of this Dawn is just going to go ahead with this other Kuzan. I don't know if you have a great target at this point. It's not like you have another San Juan Wolf in the trash. You just really have Van Augurs at this point. So you might just hold on to this Kuzan right here and hope that maybe doesn't have a way to rest and swing into it, right, for that free leader effect. So going ahead, using leader effect and pitching the Dot Q, right, no on-play effects for this Zoro. Going to draw for turn, still add 5 life, so still has plenty to be able to work with. Might go ahead and use this Hiyori to try to get another character to play out within the turn, right? Plenty of slash characters to be able to find and put onto the field, try to get maybe a little bit wider at this point. Yeah, definitely just holding on to the 3 Peach Momoko Tashigis. Ends up using the 10,000 power swing to just take a life, put the Blackbeard to 1, and uses the 3 cost event. Luffy is going to be king of the pirates to get another 10,000 power swing and put this Blackbeard to 0 life right now. The Hiyori coming in to be able to try to find a slash character. Might try to find something that can help him push for game in the coming turns. Does find the demonic 9-sword style event, and so with the different blockers on field, right, only 1 blocker in the San Juan Wolf might not be usable here in this next upcoming turn. The event does take, I believe, 4 Dawn to be able to rest the different blockers and whatnot on the field. Could go ahead and see if they've got a little Blackbeard blocker. No Vasco shot in this list that I've seen so far at this point. Does find a 10 drop, so 10 drop could come out onto the field. Would give you 2 blockers, but I don't know if is it worth it? The other cards are the 5 drop Van Augur and also the 7 drop Blackbeard. So is going to go ahead and grab the 10 drop Blackbeard. And do you just slam it down? You've got a little bit of counter in hand with the Strongers. Trying to see the other cards. I don't think you have enough counter to be able to get out of the swing if the Demonic 9-Sword style comes in. You're going to have to pop your Kuzan preemptively just to be able to get that draw effect right on that activate main, just to find another counter card. So is going to go ahead before doing anything else, just swing 5,000 power at lead, is going to have that Zoro take the life right here. Potential trigger, could it be? It could be the 0 cost event. So the 0 cost event in OP04, I believe, actually could be really useful right now. I looked at the wrong one. I believe the trigger off the top of my head is resting a 4 cost or less character, which wouldn't be anything, right? Because the Harujan, yeah, resting a 4 cost or less character. The Harujan is not a 4 cost, it's a 9 cost, isn't it? It's not an original cost of 4, so you actually can't rest anything, so allows him to put it back in hand. Definitely an interaction that you need to know. And so uses that Kuzan effect, does end up drawing 1 card. It is a 2K Caribou, which is actually kind of a big deal, right? Because the Caribou is a 2K. And so there goes the Van Augur onto the field coming off of that Kuzan effect, right? It is a 6K body. It's kind of one of your best options on the field. You can't bring back another Kuzan, so can't bring that blocker. Also, that blocker being a 6 cost doesn't fit that parameter anyways. And now swings 5,000 power at lead. Is going to go ahead, take a life right there. Another Hody Jones. So now the Blackbeard swinging, or I'm sorry, the Jesus Burgess swinging 10 is going to take a life, and the 10 drop Blackbeard coming down, using leader effect to get rid of the Tempest Kick non-counter card. Does have 2, 4, 6, 7K in counter in hand. The Hody Jones actually gets you the same place, right? No, Hody Jones does not. Because you don't have on-play effects, you can't rest the blockers. Yeah, I think probably, maybe if you're not going to be able to rest the blocker right on that 0 cost trigger, you'd rather just have it in hand to kind of give you a chance to survive in the next turn. I don't know if Hody Jones wins the game, though, because there's enough counter in hand, right? Or, well, Hody Jones wouldn't win the game. The Demonic 9-Sword style Asura would leave you 6 Dawn to a swing 11. The Blackbeard can get out of that. The Blackbeard can go to 12, right? The highest that the Zoro can swing is 11. I guess the best thing that you can do right now is you can use the Demonic 9-Sword style to rest the 2 blockers, swing at the Burgess, and then just restand leader to swing at life, right? Because, or do you swing at the blocker? Do you swing at like the Harujan? Because there's no way that they'd be able to save that, right? Yeah, it uses 4 Dawn to use. Demonic 9-Sword style Asura uses 4 Dawn to use for the event. So you put 6 on leader for an 11,000 power swing, and the Blackbeard can get to exactly 12. Yeah, if he swings into this Burgess, then, I mean, the Burgess dies because you can't do both, right? You can't save both bodies and still win. But if the Zoro gets rid of the Burgess, does he have enough counter to win the game? He has the 2K and the Hachan in hand, has the 0 cost event that we saw earlier. I don't think he's even going to play the Demonic event. No, he's just swinging at lead. And so ends up getting the block right there, ends up going leader because of the block, right? And now the Blackbeard comes in, block and 2K, right? 2K, 1K. Who's doing a thing? 2K, 1K on the Burgess and also the Stronger. Yo, thank you, favorite anime villain, for the raid over on Twitch. Welcome in, Raiders. Watching the top 8 round. Definitely a close game between the Zoro and Blackbeard. Now, the real question is, can the Zoro lose at this point, right? It's a full 10 done. The Blackbeard is bigger and badder than ever. He is now 11,000 power. Can you just math him out? I think you can just math him out. You need 3 swings to hit. I would just commit all your Dawn on Blackbeard, Van Augur, and Burgess, right? So goes in with the full lead, right? Just filtering out the hand. Maybe tries to find, you know, a 2K and finds plenty of them in the stronger. I don't know if the 2K matters that much. I think this is also... Is this the 4th Teach, I think? So, Wicked, the 10 cost Blackbeard only nullifies the leader effect on the Teach's turn. It doesn't nullify the effect on the Zoro's turn. Only characters get nullified on the Zoro's turn. Yeah, all good, all good. Feel free to ask questions, Wicked. So, grabs a stronger off of that 2K Blackbeard Pirate card. And so has 3 2Ks in hand as well as a couple 1Ks. Could play the 6 cost Kuzan. Just try to elongate this game. So ends up swinging 7 with the Van Augur, right? No 10 cost Blackbeard coming in. Goes to 8 with the 0 cost event. Yeah, I mean, he could use the demonic 9 sword style for counter to be able to survive. So I don't think he's afraid of dying on this turn. It's just a matter of what does Blackbeard play on this turn. Maybe Zoro's got it. He has 3 2Ks. He's sitting in more counter than he did earlier. So actually, I don't know. The Zoro might be in trouble. Because with the demonic 9 sword style, he still can only swing 11. And Blackbeard can get out of that. He's got even more counter in hand. And so 2K gets out of that swing. This is a crazy game, chat. If he doesn't play a blocker, though, you just jam all... Like, you have to play a blocker here if you're the Blackbeard, right? Because you want to force the demonic 9 sword style. Because if you just leave one blocker out, he just jams, like, all 10 with leader and swings, like, 15-15. So there's the Kuzan. I think the Kuzan's the best play he can make. Is he going to play the Caribou as well? He might play the Caribou. Oh, passes off the turn, does not play the Caribou at this point. The little 1-drop blocker. There's Vanderdecken, my guy. Leader effect was not used on this turn, actually, chat. I think. So Hody Jones is active. Can Hody Jones get you there with this math? I think Hody Jones can get you there, right? Because you swing, you rest the 2 blockers on Hody Jones, and then... You go 8 with Hody Jones. That's 2 2Ks. And then you swing 8 with Zoro. And he only has 2K, 1K in hand. Hody Jones wins the game because he didn't use leader effect, right? Am I crazy? Also, this Zoro's playing Vanderdecken. Can we talk about this? Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he used leader effect. And respectively, right, not using leader effect, you're trying to keep as many cards in hand as possible because you know he has the demonic 9 sword style. But, like, yeah, Hody Jones wins the game right here. I don't think it's necessarily a throw headshot. Because you don't know that he has Hody in hand. No, he's not playing Hody. He's resting the blocker with the Tashigi. And so he's going to swing the rest at lead. I think this also gets there, right? Because that's 8 done. That's 13. Yeah, this also gets there. Wait, Tashigi got him there anyways. Triple blocker. What's the reasoning not to play the Caribou, though? To value the 2K in hand? Triple blocker dies the spell. Yeah, so like because then he runs out of counter right in hand. He can only match... Or no. So if he plays the 3 blockers, 2 of them get rested from demonic 9 sword style, and then he swings 11-11, right? Because he swings the 11. You have 2K, 1K in hand. if you didn't use leader effect, so you can only get up to 10,000 power. So yeah, actually, yeah, if he played the Caribou, he also lost. So he just valued the 2,000 counter more.